Hey everybody, welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we have our top 6 in 6 minutes best games of 2017. That's 5 years ago at this point. So we're also going to be doing 10 years ago. It'll probably be another day or two before that video comes out, so be sure to come back and check that out. But let's get right into this list starting now. 6 minutes starts now. So number 6 is Clank in Space. Now I actually have never played Clank. I've never played Clank Legacy, but I have played Clank in Space, and I really enjoy this one. It's got a solo mode that I really should get back into. I've played the solo mode once or twice, but the multiplayer version is just so much fun. You are a thief that has snuck your way onto the spaceship that's run by this evil overlord or whatever, and you're working your way through the ship. You got to get all the way to the front of the ship, collect one of his priceless artifacts, which are things like robot dogs or Game Boy looking things, and then get back off the ship before he kills you. As you're doing so, you're going to be creating Clank with noise. Basically, you put that in a bag, and at various times during the game you're pulling stuff out of the bag, and if you pull Clank out of the bag, then you're going to end up, or if you pull red cubes out of the bag, you end up taking damage, and there's all kinds of enemies that show up, and there's so much tongue-in-cheek kind of, you know, nudge nudge wink wink humor in the game as well, with, you know, different things from classic sci-fi, you know, tropes that everybody knows, whether it's Star Trek or Alien or whatever. It's a lot of fun. That is Clank in Space. Number 5 is Anachrony. This is a time travel game, which it's really more like a lone game disguised as a time travel game. So thematically, it's way in the future. The Earth is in terrible shape, but to help stave off disaster, you have to borrow goods, you know, different resources from the future. But if you don't pay them back, then a paradox happens, and you start taking, you know, damage, which is like negative points, I believe, if I remember correctly. I've only played this one twice, but it's my buddies. I played it recently again, and it's just so much fun. And you have these mechs that you have to use you have to power them up and then put people in them to then go outside of your protective area to do certain things. And there's other things you can do inside the protected area. And the whole point is that there's a disaster has already happened. There's a major disaster getting ready to happen, and you have to be prepared for that. Otherwise, you lose the game. Number 4 is Charterstone, which is a village building legacy game. So it's legacy in the sense that you're sticking stickers onto the game board. You're not really destroying anything unless you count putting stickers on the game board, destroying it. And as you're doing this, you're building up your settlement, and it's like it's a worker placement game, and you could use the other players' areas of the settlement. It's all one settlement called Charterstone, or I guess there is a Charterstone in the middle of the settlement. It's all one settlement, but everybody has their own section, but everybody can use each other's sections, and you get benefits, or the player whose section you use, they're going to get some benefits from you using their stuff a lot of the time. And so much unlockable stuff in this game. And it has a story that takes some twists and turns, and I mean, the story is kind of like, take it, leave it, but it kept me interested at least. And when you're done with it, you can flip the board over, and on the back is a new fresh board, and then you buy a refresh pack for the cards, and you can play again. So you don't have to buy the entire game again. That's pretty cool. That's Charterstone. Number 3 is Spirit Island. I'm running out of time here. Spirit Island, which is where you are the spirits of this island, and the island is being colonized, and so you, as one of the gods of this island, are going to be trying to fend off these colonizers. Fear is one of your primary tools. You're going to be helping the natives try to fight off these colonizers, and it has this really cool thing where all of the colonizers are plastic pieces, and everything that is native to the island are wooden pieces. So it has that kind of cool little aesthetic to it. And This is one of the top solo games right now. I know that every year for the past 2 or 3 years, it's been voted on Board Game Geek as the #1 solo game. So this is a really fantastic experience. Number 2 is Twilight Imperium 4th Edition. This is one of those once-a-year games, and just absolutely, it's so much fun. It's this massive space opera of a game. Everybody starts in their own area of outer space on this board, this modular that's set up so it's different every time, and all these different factions that you can be that have their own powers and their own strategies. And you know, slowly as the game goes on, it's a 4 to 6 hour game usually. We played, I think, 5 hours last time I played, possibly maybe 6, but I think it's about 5 hours. And you're slowly moving in towards the center, taking up more and more space. Whenever you get to the center of the galaxy, then a political phase starts as well. You start passing laws, and there's lots of negotiation back and forth, backstabbing, and you know, sometimes like what happened last time, we had one guy who was getting more and more powerful, and then all of us decided, you know what, we got to go after him, and started coming down on top of him, but it wasn't enough by that point because he had just become too powerful. He was managed to stave off attacks until he was able to build up enough power to win the game, basically. And finally, #1 from 2017 is Gloomhaven. This is, I mean, this shouldn't be a shock to anybody who's watched my favorite list of all time. Gloomhaven is certainly up there. And Gloomhaven is another massive, it looks like a dungeon crawl. It's not a dungeon crawl, though. There's so much more strategy. That's my time. As usual, I'm running late. There's so much more strategy than in your average dungeon crawl in this. And don't get me wrong, I love dungeon crawls. But so with Gloomhaven, you start off with a big hand of cards of like 7 to 10 cards in your hand. You play 2 at a time. And then after you work your way through your hand, you get some of those back, but one of them is going to get gone for the entire rest of that particular game. And so that's sort of your timer for the game, is you're trying to finish the scenario before you run out of cards. There's like 99 scenarios in the base game. I also have Jaws of the Lion, which is fantastic, and Frosthaven's coming. So all of that, my group that I'm playing with right now, we're working our way through Kingdom Death Monsters campaign, and then next up will be probably either Gloomhaven or Madara. Either way, a lot of fun there. Gloomhaven is my #1 game from 2017. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to come back for our top games from 2012. We've got just January is chock full of top lists, so be sure to keep checking back, and we've got some more great stuff. I'll be getting back into my How to Play Shadows Over Normandy series. We've got a Shadows Over Normandy gameplay coming up in about a week and a half. We were going to do it about a week and a half ago and had to push it off. So lots of great stuff coming up on the channel, and until next time, if you're bored online, board offline.